a lot of progress as writers. Each day you wrote more. All of you have 3 or 4 small moment stories in your notebook. You're getting better every day. Don't you agree? Don't you feel proud?
Yeah.
You should. We talk about you at lunch. Grade 6 group, awesome. Having such a wonderful start to the year. Even you. I'm kidding. But we're going to continue to push you, right, and make your writing better. And that's what we're going to do today. So if you look up, look at our goal. Just tell a story exactly how the narrator perceived it. And over here, I wrote, climb inside the moment and write within the narrator's point of view. If you're going to have a picture that I hope helps you understand. Okay, so these are writers. Okay, they're climbing up, and they get on the diving board, and they jump in the moment. You see that? So that's what you're going to do today.
Do we have a pool?
No. But that's what I want you to think about. So I have 2 samples for you. Okay, I'm going to read them aloud first, and then I'm going to ask you to tell me how they're different. Okay? Now these are not my stories. These are stories from Mr. Boland. Do you know Mr. Boland?
No.
Yes.
He's the 8th grade English and Social Studies teacher. He's also the golf coach. And he's a lucky guy because he's a good friend of mine. Right, Albert? So, here's a part of his story, okay? I was squished at the bottom of the bathtub with my 2 brothers wrestling me so my eyes and nose were at the surface of the water. When Dad walked into the house with our very first VHS player and placed it next to the TV, hooking up its wires. He quickly popped in the original Star Wars Episode 4 tape, and we watched the movie eating popcorn. So do you know what VHS is?
Some video playing.
Right, so before DVDs,
Oh, there are those tapes.
there were these big tapes that looked like bricks. Looked like a plastic brick.
Like, that's like...
Yeah, right? Look like that.
Oh, yeah, there are those tapes in there.
Look like that, right? And it went inside the player. So, in this story, he's describing the time that his dad came home with that player. Alright? So this is one. Here's the next one. Same story, just written a little differently. I was being buried under a tub of bubbles from my 2 older brothers when all of a sudden I heard Dad call out, "Boys, check out our very own VHS player." My brothers and I jumped out of the tub, barely touching a towel, and ripped down the hall to see what Dad had brought us. Okay? So my question to you is, how are these different? Right, it's the same scene, but they're written differently. So I want to know, how are they written differently? So you think about it for a second and then turn and talk. Go ahead.
There's no
It has description.
there's no dialogue. On the first one, it's a lot. I mean, the second one, there's a lot of dialogue, but not many dialogue.
The right one is like you can imagine what the other one. I do understand I don't really understand what that means.
All right, Gina, ask someone else. Say, how are they different? Ask anybody. How are they different? You want to ask CJ right there? Say, CJ, how are they different? Gina, ask him the question, please.
So the first one has a lot of description, and the second one has quotes and actual actions, more actions and dialogue-ish things.
Okay, dialogue-ish. That's good. Good. So he said that this one is more like descriptive. This one has more actions, tiny actions, right? We know we want tiny actions in a small moment story, right? Dialogue, speech. Okay. CJ, ask someone else. How are they different?
Oh, are hardly different.
Somebody that's not sitting next to you. Somebody far away from you.
Harry.
Right.
Hardly different.
There's a lot of description in the first one.
Okay, first one's more description. So I'm going to give you two words, and I want you to place them with the right scene. Okay. One word is show. The other word is tell. So which one of these is more about show? The right. Which one is more about tell? The left, right? So as a writer of small moment stories, do you think it's better if you show the reader what happened or tell them? Show, right? Telling is for your journal. Right? You tell what happened in a journal. But for us, if we're writing a small moment story, we want to transport that reader back to that moment where you were, so they feel what you felt, experience what you experienced, right? We want to create an emotion, a feeling in our reader, and we do that by giving them the same experience. And we do that, right, by telling the story exactly how the narrator perceived it. So if we look back at this example, right, I was squished at the bottom of the bathtub with my two brothers wrestling me, so my eyes and nose were at the surface of the water, right? When my dad walked into the house. So there's Mr. Bowen in the water, like, got his head, just his nose out of the water, can barely breathe, he's half dead. How does he know that his dad is holding a VHS player when he walked in the house?
Yeah.
No, but how can you see it? Like,
No.
the map?
Yeah, it doesn't.
When Dad walked in the house, I was under the water when Dad walked in the house with a VHS player. Doesn't work, right?
You want the water.
Impossible. Right? And how does he know that he started hooking up the wires, plugging it in and stuff? He doesn't know, right? So in this is not the narrator's point of view. The other example is, right? So he's in there, he hears Dad, then they run downstairs. Okay, so it's different. So I want you guys, I'm going to read another little story to you. And to help us with the narrator's point of view, we're going to use one of my favorite tools. These are the magic glasses that let us see through the eyes of the narrator.
Oh.
Right? Now, I'm able to read like a writer, and these also help me write like a reader. They're magic glasses that will be with us all year. Yeah. If you ever get stuck at your desks, you don't know what to write, or you're having trouble getting the narrator's point of view, you come up and borrow them, wear them for a little bit, all your problems will be solved.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty much.
So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to read part of a story to you, and you are going to tell me when to take them off. Because I'm going to start the story reading within the narrator's point of view, so seeing through the main character's eyes. When that stops, you got to yell at me and say, "Take them off," and I'll take the glasses off. Okay? You know how this is going to work?
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. I made my way slowly to the front of the line, as one by one, the kids in soggy bathing suits sat at the edge of the water slide before disappearing down the chute. Right, so where am I? Where's the story taking place?
A water park?
Water park, at a water slide. Right, you've all been on a water slide?
Yeah.
I was next in line, and the thumping in my heart was almost loud enough for everyone to hear. Still good?
Yeah.
We feel like we're there. You're thinking about that time that you were on the slide, right? Getting nervous, right? Soon I was at the edge of the slide. I leaned forward and peered down at the small blue rectangle of a pool dotted with the heads of swimmers below. Pretty good description there. Because the pool at the bottom, it's real big, looks like a little rectangle. Now I know that we're high up in the air. Real scary. I carefully sat down with the cold rush of water blowing past my body. Still there, right? Have you been in that situation when you sit down at the top of the slide and the water wants to push you, but you're not ready? It's scary, right? So when I read this, I feel scared because we haven't left the narrator's point of view. My cousin was below, wondering if I was scared. Do I take them off?
Yeah.
Well, nobody's yelling at me.
Take him off.
Good. So, why did you tell me to take them off, CJ? You don't know.
Oh, wear them again.
Where?
Yeah.
Are you going to yell at me if I wear them again?
No.
You can scream and say take them off?
No.
I'm not taking them off. So who knows? Why did we take them off? My cousin was below, wondering if I was scared.
The narrator was really high up, and because the swimming pool was like a small rectangle, it means that you can't really see your brother, and by actually wondering that you can't read his mind.
Perfect. Perfect. Lauren, can you tell me what he said?
Because if he was, like the narrator was high up in the air, and he can see the people in the swimming pool, he won't be able to think and read his mind about his cousin being if he's scared.
Perfect, right? So we're up there at the top of the slide, way up in the air. Our cousin's all the way down there. There's no way we know what he's thinking. Right? We don't know. He could be thinking, I hope he falls off. Right? We don't know. Right? So with that sentence, we lose the narrator's point of view. Right? And that's something we want to avoid in our stories. Okay? So quickly, turn and tell the person next to you what we mean by narrator's point of view. Quickly.
How the narrator moves the story. How when the object character makes it. How the narrator.
The narrator talking like what a narrator sees.
Literally.
All right, you can tell me. Midu, what do we mean? Narrator's point of view.
Like you can feel it, like you're the main character.
I like that. He said you can feel it like you're the main character. It's a great answer. Right? That's our goal today. So you're going to stay here on the carpet until you have a story idea. When you get that idea, off to your desks, writing fast and furiously. Okay, so stay here until you get an idea. If your page is blank and you're lost, what are you going to do? Yes, you can. Actually, these are for when you have your idea already, right? You need the idea first. But you can make a map. You can do your lists. You can think about a time you learned something. We have these strategies for finding story ideas. Once you get that idea, though, back to your desk.